What's going on, everybody? Your gray bearded bard here for most of your high fantasy things such as Final Fantasy XIV. Today I will go by the moniker SpaceNord.
SpaceNord!
Okay, because we are doing Starfield. And in this video, it's probably going to be another one in the noise or in the ether, if you will, about where to find, how to find outposts. Hopefully I can explain it a little bit more detail. The one thing I do notice about this game in Starfield is that no matter what's out there, it's always going to be somewhat inconsistent with the playthrough. And a lot of that has to do with the way how the game builds its planets and builds its environments, biomes, its dungeons, if you will, through the RNG matrix. So whatever I wind up playing is totally different and drastically different for what a lot of you have experienced. So I'm going to start out here, and I have found 6 other planets. 6 planets that will be my main production planets, if you will. And I'll guide you through those, where I found them, what resources I'm pulling from them, and how I can set them up later on. This is basically finding the outpost. I'll do another video on what I've done to build the outpost, okay? So we're going to go to everybody's favorite planet first. What is it called? It's a moon, actually. So let me come back here. Andraste, maybe that's how it's said. Maybe it's not. Let me go over to my handy dandy speech to text here. Let's try this again. The thing changed. All right.
Andraste.
Yeah, I said it right. How about that? Good me. Good on me. All right. So you'll see I already marked the landing area between those 2 colored zones. Now my skill is rank 3, so my world or planet map is going to look a little bit different than some of yours. What I did and how I found that spot, and I haven't found the actual outpost yet, so we'll fast forward to that here in a moment. But this is how I did it, right? I know iron. There's a big chunk of iron here. I'm going to land on that for a second. And you can see in the, what's it called? The biome there that it says mountains, okay? We got mountains there. We come up here. We look at the aluminum, the helium, the euphorium, and over here you'll also see beryllium. But all of that falls into craters, right? Well, beryllium there. Find a big vein of aluminum, right? It says aluminum, craters. We got helium, also craters, euphorium, craters, right? All of that stuff is there. So what I did is sometimes it's even better to just turn off that, so you can see the actual geographical layout of the planet. Yeah, like I could tell that this is crater or mountains actually. Over here we got craters. You see the color differential there. Really helps you sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. Right, going into the night side of the moon. But over here, we find mountains. We find craters. And I'm using a controller here, so I'm going to inch my way. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to find a crater. I'm going to keep a little tapping and tapping and tapping. A little tap tap tap, tap-a-roo. Craters. Craters, keep cratering, keep cratering, keep cratering, keep inching until I find mountains. Craters, mountains. So making these micro movements here, I could tell that this is probably a great intersection for me to land, right? It's not necessarily so much where the colors are in that spectrum. It just gives you an idea where the greatest density of those minerals are. But it's the intersection of these 2 biomes. Occasionally, you can even find a 3rd biome. It's how I found one of my planet's resources, but this is basically it, right? So let's go ahead and travel here. See how fast this takes, because I do have an older system. Basically matches the minimum requirements for this game. I do use a PC for virtually all of my playthroughs and video content. Yes, I do love the adoring fan. All right, let's just kind of look around my little green booger here. what we are looking for are discolorations. Not necessarily so much the mountains or the craters, and I believe I landed on craters anyway, so we should be able to see craters somewhere. I think there's a discoloration over there. Let's get out of the ship.
Places like this may look barren, but
Turn my
minerals
actual speakers down.
diamonds in the rough.
And so let's just check right outside the ship, right? We got aluminum, beryllium, which means we are in the crater sector. All right, so we got something landing somewhere. The other side of that hill is probably going to knock my ability out. Well, let's just go ahead and collect some of these here. Nope, Doring fan, beryllium. Run around here. Let's try to top off all 5 of these resources. Super quick. It's only 5. They're usually relatively close to each other. You can see how my game's already freezing. What I do like about Andraste is the low gravity. It allows for you to carry more stuff at one given moment, but it also slows down your oxygen depletion as you continue to sprint. Let's see here, where are we at? I gotta find some iron. Okay. I can do that. Oh, found it. Here we go. Nope, I didn't find it. I found this doofus. Cool. So let's keep running and running until we find something that says Fe, which is the symbol for furic or furous, also known as iron. There we go. And just like that, we surveyed all the resources and created the ability to optimize your outpost output. And so right now we're just sitting on some beryllium. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to cut and edit this video a little bit weird just so we can fast forward some of this time, because I'm trying to find, I don't really see much of a biome change besides over here, and I'm not sure if that's consistent across the entire map, right? Because I can do this, which is horrible, but you can see craters up this way, so I have to run north for craters. It looks like this is the last little bit of mountains down here on the left hand side, probably a big old crater right here. So I think I only landed on one biome, which is part of the struggle bus of this game, right? I've seen their videos and they're like, yeah, it took me 10 minutes to do this. And I have something in front of my clock, so I can't tell you how long this has been. But it's taken me a little bit over 4 days to find all of my outposts, at least the way I wanted them. So yeah, this game can be a time grinder. But as I move forward over this ridge line here, just to see if I can score a little bit of some iron, I'm more than likely just going to move to a whole nother map. Using the same method, right? Because you see I got a couple of spaces here. We'll go back to this one. I never really explored that one. But that same principle, right? I found craters, found mountains, and I kept bracketing myself until one micro movement changed its biomes, and I just settled on one to land at. You know, I've never used Synapse Alpha. Probably should have in the past, but I never have. Good point. Now you can see by the ground here, the last place craters more or less had more of like a brownish or reddish clay type map. This isn't that color still. It's a different color scheme. So we can see all the mountains there. I landed in mountains. Looks like we got a structure over here. We got a ship landing. A pretty big ship. I might actually just go take a side mission, get that ship. I like doing a little piracy every now and again. Ship landing. It's pretty big. I stole this one from the Crimson Fleet. This is my new game 2 plus or plus 2, however you want to say that. I stole this one from the Crimson Fleet. So I may, and I'm still within the early phases. It's really weird this time around because Walter has it's gone. But Walter basically bankrupted the Constellation, bought out the rest of it, had all of the artifacts, and to my understanding, either the rest of my romanceable companions are just floating around somewhere, or they're dead. That's my understanding. I haven't got that far yet, but it seems like a pretty dull playthrough for me so far. Don't know why I'm even looking for outposts, but here I am. Alright, so now we need to find that other biome. So let's go over here because that looks like the highest point. And hopefully I'll be able to find the second color, the color palette for that crater biome. Well, I guess I don't have to. Looks like there's no craters in this map. So at this point, I'm 0 for 2. All right, let's go back to the star map. Excuse me. Mountains, 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 mountains. Craters. You're probably asking me why I don't ever save it before I enter a field. Well, because there's plenty of spaces for you to enter here. Every 4 or 5 times you hit a landing pad or a landing zone, it's going to move that marker anyways. Thereby, every time you go back to that same relative area, it's going to be a little bit different each time. Alright, so now we're looking for 2 colors. Ah, there we go. That's very distinctive, isn't it? And we got all this white and light blue stuff, which is probably where all the iron is. Look at that. Booyah. Found us some iron. And now we're just going to run towards the red clay over there. Okay, so now we're approaching what I refer to as a fissure or a seam. Right? It's the seam or the fissure between these 2 color palettes. Oh, and we're starting to see a little bit of other stuff here, right? Got some aluminum, helium-3, iron. It's very important to have a base that has both aluminum and iron at the same time. Don't need to get super fancy with it. Don't need to get overboard. It's probably going to be where all my other stuff gets shipped to. Yeah, that's right. That's why I found 6 other outposts plus a couple of smaller ones for just pure helium output. Just so that I can have one base where everything is shipped to, not so much from. And that has to do with the way how this game is glitchy and broken in some ways. My last playthrough, I discovered that, let's say here, I got Outpost A and Outpost B. Outpost A is sending aluminum. Outpost B is sending iron. However, what I would find out in my what are they called? In the turds. Can't remember what it's called. But you know the landing pad where that transport ship lands and it delivers where it's coming from. There would somehow be crossed wires, right? So if I was sending aluminum from A, there would be aluminum in the receiving connex or whatever you want to call that box, and not just iron. So that would getting me a little irritated, because then I would have to build more like transport cargo pads just to have one send aluminum and another send iron specifically. It was aggravating. Maybe this time around it'll be different. Maybe not. Maybe I screwed it up somehow because I had to go back and break all my cargo links and all those little red lasers. Yeah, it was pretty aggravating at some point. But right now I'm trying to see if I could find all 5 elements in the same place. If not, I'll just hunker down on the beryllium, iron, the 4 main ones, right? The usurium, euphort. Hold on. Let's do this. Okay, I need to back out of this so I can move over to my second screen. And I wound up clicking on an ad because you see how big this freaking ad is? It's annoying, isn't it? So let's clear euphorium, pium, EUROPIUM. That's because I open this. EUROPIUM. And let's let it load one good time. Europium. Got it. Europium is not what I'm exactly looking for. So if I could get 4 of the 5 there, that's a win. I think I already had it once, but wanted to give the Europium the old college try. Okay, so it took me a little over 10 minutes just to find this place since the last time I narrated for you. You can see I got 4 of the 5 available resources here on Andraste. And let's go ahead and set this up really quick. Now, what I want to show you is how to fine tune this some. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pop to the overhead view, zoom out as much as I can. You can still see that I got both biomes included in this. One of the things I looked for is a relatively flat surface. You know, we're looking at mountains and craters here, so there's, you know, in theory, shouldn't be a lot of flat surface there to be able to build things, because like right here, you may see this little error or not. Where it would say, can't build here, you can't put stuff down in intersecting or over objects. It's written in red letters, but the game is glitchy. So we got this going for us, right? So I'm going to go ahead, and you can tell, again, new game 3 over here, or new game 2, third time playthrough, I got stuff. So here we got our helium. Oh, I'm missing something. What am I missing? The that thing drilling rig. Gotcha. So we'll just build this. Where are you? And I'm just going to circle the map here. Not seeing it. Not seeing that. Again, glitchy. So let's go to beryllium. All right, so we can build one of these, but not one of those. That's okay. Now let's go back up to the aluminum or aluminium for those of us who speak with a British accent. Maybe it will pop up this way. Maybe it won't. Which is really weird and strange. Again, game is glitchy. So we'll pop that around, just kind of play with it some. Occasionally it will show up. It should be a darker color anyways. It's very possible that the game just gave me the little symbol too to appease my search. But here we got iron. Again, looking for the iron place. Yep, there's iron right there. It was almost missable if it wasn't in this other distinctive color palette. Right, still can't make these because I don't have those special drilling rigs. Let's come back and search for the aluminium or aluminum. Those of us who are English speaking Americans. Not really seeing it, am I? Do you guys see it? When you see it, say, I see it. All right, we're just going to cross over here. Not really finding it. Let's see if it's over here. All right, I'm going to do one more gimmick for you to help fix a lot of these Bethesda type glitchy games, right? So let's do this. We're going to go into my menu here, tap a quick save. We're going to wait for it to quick save. Now we're just going to load said quick save. And we will see if the aluminum pops up now. There's my adoring fan. All right, right here. Aluminum, expand out. There's those red warnings I was talking about earlier. So yes, the game did glitch. Which also means, watch this. So if I come here, go ahead and remove this outpost, permanently remove. Let's go back into building an outpost. Okay, so it still shows me that the aluminium is in the area. Still not seeing it though. Not over here. Not over here. Let's see here. We got this iron over here, so I could probably move it more into the red clay some. In fact, let me just run over here. Let's see if I can find it this way, the old-fashioned way. There's the helium again. I might even just move it to get that other space of helium into this. That's also dependent on where I find that aluminum. We're going to move over into this sector. That's where we should start seeing the iron. There it is. All right, so I am going to run the actual edge here. Usually when I see that, and it stays, right? When you saw where I broke the outpost and reset it, the times in the past where I would do that, the one that I can't find is no longer there. But then the offhand chance that they remain like they did just now, it's usually like a little sliver that is just touching the line. Oh, I think I found it. And there it is. My aluminium. It's right here next to the beryllium. See that? That was really weird, huh? I had to run around to find it. Let's pop this up here, and you can see it doesn't show up in my area map. Just weird. But that does happen too, right? Everybody freaks out when you don't see it on your area map, but when the helium just disappears or dissipates, it becomes a real problem. But here's what I'm going to do. We're going to fine tune this, right? We talked about fine tuning things. I have a fair amount of iron here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move my beacon to where this kind of cuts it at about half. That way I could get more space for my aluminium and maybe show up at that point. All right, so we got this here, we got the beryllium over here, and there's my beacon. See, I got a little bit of space there I can jive towards this beryllium. That's going to be my landmark, is probably this rock. So I don't want to take out too much of the iron, because again, iron and aluminum make the basis for most of the stuff that we do for this game. Push this button. All right, let's come up here, kind of walk around it to where that line pops up. We're going to remove this outpost. Yes. All right, so that being said, that one right there. Let's come back, double check this iron. Bingo. Got it right where I want it. See, I wish I had some of these super fancy aluminite, aldumite drilling rigs, but I don't. Don't know why. So I could put a few of these here, it looks like. Let's just start with one each, okay? Beryllium. We'll come over to this side again. Got all this beryllium stuff here. See, I like to edge this in, just like how I found the seam or the fissure for the biomes. I like to edge those in just so it creates the least amount of footprint there. So let's go to aluminum. Right. So we're going to can't place because intersecting item. Put one right there, but I can put the industrial, and that's fine. Just want to put this right there. All right. So as you can see, I reduced my amount of adaptive frames. So I can't really build much of anything else. These things do require power, so I need actual aluminum that I probably just burnt building stuff. These are going to be my mainstays. Even though I got helium going here, these are going to be the main things that power my outposts. These little solar domes. You can see this planet allows for a generation of 12. So I need to make some Tau grade rheostats, and then I need more aluminum. You can see already the dilemma that I'm in, right? These fuel generators are cool and all. They do help, especially when it comes to getting some temporary power, but the solar domes and I guess I don't have the option here because there's no wind, but like the wind turbines, they help out a lot. I mean, a lot. See, like this thing produces 100 power, but Jesus, look at all the stuff I need to find to build one. It's unnecessary, really. These reactors here are just unnecessary. But all right, that's going to be it for this part of the outposting. You know, found it, fine-tuned it, and now the next part of the video, we're just going to take a grand tour of all these other outposts that I found, just so you can see the resources that I discovered. And I feel like most of the basic things that we have to create, manufacture, and just deal with are from these other outposts. All right, the first one we're going to travel to is Eridani VIII-B. Right there, we got helium, aluminum again, beryllium, but this time we're going to throw in some cobalt and nickel. So let's hit the star map. Going to zoom out to the universe here. Eridani's down here in this bottom left stuff. We'll go here. You see this little bitty, what looks like a bunker. That's the indicator for our outpost. And we're just going to zoom around until we see where it says Outpost 2. I just haven't renamed them yet. What I'll do, especially when I'm looking for an outpost that has multiple resources, is I will plant one where I get a lot of them. And then I'll use that as a bit of a basis to go back and fast travel with until I find one that can optimize the amount of resources that I'm looking for, like this one. Since Andraste is making helium, aluminum, and beryllium, it's not so much a top priority for this outpost, so I can still fine-tune and move the outpost marker a little bit. But again, as I've said earlier, those are basic necessities, so I may just keep that here. All right, so Eridani, let's just pull up this map really quick. Right, so you can see where the original landing is versus where I wound up putting the outpost. You can see a difference in terrain features here. There's a crater, there's some hills or mountains. Very indicative of the first three helium. Well, the craters are helium, aluminum, and beryllium. The cobalt, I think, falls into the craters too, but nickel is most definitely here in the hills or mountains. This outpost, I don't believe it fell right on a fissure, if you will. So let's zoom out. Right, so it's all unicolor here. You can tell that the fog is really setting in, but here we go, right? We got all these extractors here: helium, aluminum, beryllium, cobalt, and nickel. Cobalt and nickel, I'll just show you really quick. Again, same thing I did before. I'm just going to walk it around until I find one. All right, let's go ahead and plant this sucker right here. And now I'm out of adaptive frames again. Never stopped to go buy any, but that's okay. You see the nickel is right there. Nickel and cobalt are things that you do need, but don't need in abundance of, as like the aluminum iron. So that's okay, right? Beryllium, we got a big vein of beryllium here. Let's go to aluminium again, right there on the edge, but it's funny how it pops up. And helium, same difference, just a little bit there. What we'll throw down is one of these big guys, two of these big guys, just to, you know, have some helium for production, not to ship or send. This is not my helium farm. Okay, so this is Eridani VIII-B. Right there, it is a moon. Where is my adoring fan? So you can see him wearing a spacesuit, so you know it's not one of those type of atmospheres. Let me just run around and see if he'll just follow me. Yeah, there he comes. Good boy. Eridani VIII. All right, the next one we're going to look at is Beta Andraste. Beta Andraste is up here, I believe. Yep. Again, just following the little bunker icon. There you can see like the temperature is generally cold, then CO2, the magnosphere is weak, which generally means like it will have some wind, but not great wind. It does have a little fauna, so the aliens there's no flora really. The water is definitely radioactive, so don't drink any. Let's see here. So we got Outpost 1. I think that's the only one I really needed to land. Let's look at this. I missed it on the last planet. You can see like the uranium, the iridium. Here we got water, we got the copper, and over here we got fluorine. And this is basically where I wound up planting my outpost. So let's invade really quick. I'll put links to supply Outpost builders with the resources they need to produce.
In times like this, I'm so glad we have oxygen tanks. What would we breathe without them?
It's a very, very valid point, Adoring Fan. All right, so let's pop open to the Outpost matrix here. We'll elevate ourselves. We got some trees here that'll probably be in the way of trying to make some outpost stuff, but I'm not building a full-on outpost here. Looks like we got some aliens going at it. Which the last time I built on this planet, these little shark whales or flying whales were a real problem and a nuisance. But they also offer you some really cool stuff too, so it's important to use. I think they give you structure or membrane, something like that. It's very important. All right, let's look at the extractors really quick. We got our helium. This is one of those natural ones. So in the atmosphere or the biome itself is producing helium. So we don't need a vein for that. You notice how the circle is much wider too. So I'll plant these at the edge as well. Go over here and just kind of work it around to where it pops open again. Again, this is just for like micro management of your outposts. So again, a resource I'm not shipping to other outposts at this point, right? That's why I have farms for that. Copper, we're gonna look for copper. Copper is very important for crafting and building. You can see it's like right here. So I may wind up just picking up and moving the marker a little bit to get more of that on the spectrum, if you will. Right? It's just this real little sliver here. Like I said earlier about that aluminum or aluminum, it's that real tight little space right there. I'm definitely going to need to put more extractors, so I'm going to have to move it. Iridium, let's look at where we're at with this. This may be a reason why I wind up moving. Nope, I got some space there I can cut into. This one, on the other hand, uranium is on the other side. So if I move into the copper, I'm going to lose uranium. And this one, vanadium, there's plenty of space for that. So the one I'm going to have to replant this post because I don't have enough space for this. On the other hand, I really don't have a whole lot of stuff that requires uranium, so I don't know. The existential crises here, right? Missing some resources. So if I could plant probably one of these big guys right there on that sliver, that would be manageable. And it's really the same thing for copper. Copper you do need more in abundance of, but I might be able to put one here and another one somewhere over in this vicinity. All right, so we need the big alumite drilling rigs. All right, so I got things to play around with this. I may wind up moving it, may not, but this is that's the reason why I chose this one in beta Andraste. This is beta Andraste I alpha. So I got these 5 resources here, can help things just manage and survive. Next one we're going to is in the Andromas system. Don't have a problem saying that because Mass Effect Andromas is still a very good game. I don't know why I got a lot of hate. Don't know why I didn't get a lot of forward popularity. Probably because it was a lot like playing the same game. But we're playing Bethesda games here right now, so let's just be honest, right? Everything plays the same. We are Nords in space.
Nords in space.
That's the only difference. Nords in space.
Nords
so over here,
in
you see Andromas
space.
V-B. You can see the list of all the resources that it does offer, but my base has iron, it has lead, and it has silver. Silver is very important for that 0 wire. See, landing area, yeah. It's a goof on my part. So where's my outpost? There it is. The geology skill gives a chance to find even more inorganic components from the ground objects. Okay, so let's stand up now. I have a tendency to fat finger my controller. Okay, so as you can see, it's a bit of a rocky mess here. I believe a lot of things can still be built. So let's go ahead and enter the outpost matrix. You can see you've got 5 things again. Water is not as quite as necessary as some of these other things are. This one is definitely a necessary one, especially for like weapon and spacesuit building. And we got a big old vein of it right here. No problem with that one. Iron, remember I already have one already built for iron, but this has a big old vein for it too. Then we have lead. Lead is definitely necessary for things like robots and your security of the outpost. And then we have silver. Little guy here, but pretty much will give us everything we need through a playthrough. Just in that one little spot, right? That's all we need right there. Good. So again, this is the Andromas planet and outpost. Looks nice, cool. Still wearing a spacesuit. I think all my planets were all in spacesuits here. And let's go on. We're going on to the Procyan III. Don't know if I said that right. And let's see if I can find it. 12 minutes later. And we're back. I had to dig around to see if I could find it again. Doesn't hurt to use web sources. All right, so we're going to Sol. It was right here. I kept passing it. Procyan A. Or Procyan. I don't know. Procyan. And you can tell it took me a couple of tries to find the right outpost too, right? So there's no outpost over there. Just explore the world really quick. I believe this one we actually can take our helmets off. And let's look at, we're in wetlands. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and land there. And here we are on my outpost. Let's see here, look at the adoring fan. Yep, and you can see it's vibrant with all kinds of life. Kinds of scary looking life. Good thing they are tins. If they want to jump, we can jump like a frog. All right, so let's look at this one too. And we'll go into a little more extensive outlook with this because I want to show, where's it at? Where we can build little cages and, right, little husbandries right there. Because this is how we can basically get all that organic stuff. I don't have to run around, hunt, or kill things anymore. That's what this is for. Same thing with this greenhouse, because there's a lot of like structure or membranes that are being grown from the ground. I can build these little greenhouses to produce those little building resources just like right off the rip right here. That's awesome, right? But that's part of why we're here. Okay, let's look at it. Water again. Awesome. Fluorine. Lots of fluorine in this area. Lots of fluorine in this area. Not going to be for wanting on fluorine. Tetrafluorides. Again, a bunch of areas here. All over the place. It's kind of like a gold mine for tetrafluorides. Ionic liquids. Woo. Got all the ionic liquids I'll probably ever need for this playthrough, just off of this planet here. And those 3 things right there, right? I can also get some water, but there's very few things that I've found that I necessarily play with that require water. So there we go. It's missing resources anyways. And that's basically it here, right? There's 3 main things: fluoride, tetrafluorides, and your ionic liquids. All that's going to be there, plus a lot of habitations, a little farming, cowboy work here with the livestock, and farming for the what are those things called? I can't find them again. Greenhouses. There you go. All right, we're gonna go on to the second to last planet here. It's the Gamma Volpes 4 Alpha. That's where I get most of my aluminum, not aluminum. What is it? Lead, PB lead, tungsten, titanium, and I gotta type this one up. But I'll do it another when I get there because it's screwing around with my computer. All right, let's go to that. It's on the fringe too, so we're probably gonna have to make a couple jump points here. Probably not, because it is a fast travel. See how all those red lines are? Because again, it's a really crappy spaceship. It's only there for moving resources. But here we go, right? Dysphorium. I think I say that right. I don't know. Yep, I can fast travel. Awesome. Awesome. The main two things here are the titanium and the tungsten. Lead, also a great thing to have, as I said earlier, but I do have an outpost that already creates lead, so this can be like a backup source for it.
Are your scanners picking up anything? If so, where did they get the hands?
Dad jokes. Love it. All right, let's go into the outpost matrix. Zoom out again. Let's pull these bad boys up, right? So we can get water here, which is very weird. I already dropped one of these. Good on me, but I used up all of my aluminum and what are those things called? The adaptive frames. So, whoopsie. I have to go buy some more stuff, right? Early on, you have to buy a bunch of things, but after they become self-sufficient, this is definitely the way to go. Aside from doing speed runs, if you're doing speed runs, outposting really isn't the way to go. So we got all this lead. This might actually be my primary lead outpost now that I'm looking at it. Titanium, big vein of titanium here. And then tungsten. Got one little thing here, but tungsten is very necessary. I'm not gonna lie. Tungsten is one of the more used resources throughout this game, but at the moment that's the only three things I really need from this planet, and it took me a long time to find these three in the same area. Like I said, to find all of these outposts, it took me about 4 days, and I'm playing something like 4 to 6 hours in it. So it's a very tedious process for me. I don't know why, but it's just the way how it worked out. So we got one more planet, and it's on Leviathan. Very excited for me because I'm a long-term Final Fantasy fan, and I like that summoned monster. Always have, always will. The Eidolon or Icon, however you want to say it, depending on your entry point. Me was Final Fantasy II, America 2, back in the 1990s. Which is the running Final Fantasy IV, if you're looking at the chronological numbers there. Not chronological numbers, but you get my drift. It's very they make it more complicated than it is. But we're going to Leviathan, nonetheless. It's Andromas, this one is Leviathan. Here we go. 6, Bravo. You can see all the things that are there, and it's always important to just satisfy all the minimum requirements, scan everything, go check out all the trades, just so you can optimize that outposting. All right, you'll get a boost in your production just by doing that. So let's go here, right? This is the one I have a helium farm on, and then I have my xenon, chlorine, and my what are those things called? Need to move this around. Chlorosalines, right? That's what I was trying to say. So let's go here and land. We're only going to see one of these. It's very apparent that I have a helium farm just to produce helium. Nothing fancy about that. Again, same things apply. You want to find a generally flat surface land so you can build things evenly. That farm is the one that I will send out to all the other outposts that do not have helium, and I will have my own like receiving yard for that. I'm not going to send and receive in the same shipping yard. All right, so here we are. Again, not too far off the craft. So if I have to run and indulge myself on resources just because it's part of this game. One of the things I did realize is, side note, right, a little nugget of wisdom here is, in certain areas, I just completely ignore how much weight I'm carrying. There was times where I was carrying over 1,000 kilograms worth of stuff. And yes, it burned out all my helium or my oxygen, put me in like a very glycolytic system. It's okay. It's a video game. First of all, you're not going to die until you run all the way out. And even if you run all the way out of your life, you have to be hit for that last little bit. It's game over at that point, but that's okay. You can use things like amp, which will move you faster anyways. But yeah, that's it. So whenever I hit dungeons, I always over encumber myself just because I want all the stuff. I'll walk a little slower. I'll just use my own internal patience just to make that work. But yeah, I always ignore the weight I'm carrying for certain reasons. So this is the helium farm. Evidently I went to the wrong one, but I'm okay with that. But that's it, right? Get a bunch of these guys. Just produce and produce. Set up 3 of these cargo links here, the interlink systems, just to send out to the other planets that isn't producing helium. The other outpost isn't producing helium, so I'll just use this too. So I technically only need 4 cargo links. Awesome. Now, my other outpost should be on the same map. Where are we at? I guess it isn't. I thought it was on the same. Nope, there it is. Levithan. Now the chlorosalines and the xenon are the ones that I use mostly through a playthrough. I don't necessarily need so much chlorine, but it's just nice that I have it here. So let's examine this really quick, and that'll be it for this video. Yeah, it was a real trip, wasn't it? Journey around the stars. All right, got chlorine. Let's zoom back out. Got a couple of veins of chlorine here. All right, it's a gas. It's nice to have. This one I like because I also like building lights in my outposts. So this is a really great one for me to use. Again, doesn't need the entire vein. It's okay. You can sacrifice things to make other things work. The chlorosalines I always found myself in want of my last couple of playthroughs. So that's the reason why I wanted to find an outpost that had it. And there you go. You got those 3 things plus water. Again, I haven't found a strong necessity for that one, but I'm sure some of you have. But there we go. There are 6 main outposts, 7 including my home one, and the 8 including the farm, my helium farm. So you got a bunch of ideas of where to land your next planets, how to find them by like micro moving your marker to, cross over those 2 or possibly 3 intersections of biomes that can happen. Which planet was it? I think my Eridani. I think Eridani was a 3-section or a 3 intersection biome for getting all those things together. But nonetheless, if you like the video, just go ahead and give me a little thumbs up. If you felt it helpful, also hit thumbs up. It doesn't take but a second to do that, and it breaks the Google algorithm. It gives me the opportunity to get a little bit of money down the road. I'm not anywhere close to that anyhow. But I appreciate the time. You should have the option to go to each of the chapters by clicking on it in the description. So that's there for your convenience. And yeah, man, I appreciate it. Look forward to seeing y'all on the next one.